In Solomon Kuria, a political analyst, who's just joined me in studio for this discussion. Mr. Kuria, good morning.
Good morning.
So what does this mean for the Deputy President, William Ruto? Because so many of his allies are being kicked out of the Jubilee party.
I think it continues to become weak and weak as days go, because it started with the National Assembly, where he lost allies, Senate, and now it has gone to the party officials at the Jubilee party. I think with regard to the number of days remaining to the general election, a year is quite some time. When you don't have your generals on the ground, when you don't have your foot soldiers doing what they're supposed to be doing for you, then you continue becoming weak and weak. It means that now the generals who are supposed to be at the forefront in these political wars are now not there. And it therefore means that the Deputy President will now start doing what the generals were doing.
So are you saying that you're saying that this will actually weaken the DP?
It will weaken him, because if you look at the National Assembly, there are the strings he was pulling when someone like Kipchumba Murkomen was the majority leader at the Senate, when Aden Duale was the majority leader in the National Assembly. And now, since they are not there to do the job for him, he'll try to do it now out here. And that's why maybe you will find him now responding to so many people that he should not be responding to. And initially, Murkomen and Aden Duale would be responding to such people. He has no generals now, and therefore he'll have to do the fight himself. It's like what you say, if you want the job done, do it yourself. Now he's the one doing it himself.
And so when you talk about, Ruto's allies missing in some senior positions in Parliament and also at the party, when you say that it will actually weaken the second man in command, how will it actually weaken him?
You see, when you are a senior leader in the National Assembly or in the Senate, you are privy to some decisions even before they are made, even before they happen. So sometimes the Deputy President could be reading news just like all the other Kenyans, could be becoming aware of new developments just like all of us, while initially he would be getting such breaking news or maybe decisions before they are made through his generals who are now not in positions. So therefore, he is like somehow getting into the forest he was talking about when he was telling Raila Odinga is in the forest. Like now he's now getting into that thicket day by day.
But then, Kuria, you're saying that, his allies being in handling some of those top positions in Parliament and at the party would enable the DP be privy to some of the decisions that are supposed to be made. But still, some of the decisions that the party leader, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has made have actually gotten the DP himself off guard, especially on the leadership of the party at the National Assembly and the Senate.
I think the decisions got him off guard because, from where I see it, it is deserved for him. When you start going against the policies of the party, you start going against the manifesto of the government that you helped form with your party leader and the president, I think he has no choice. Like he was saying, it appeared like he had no choice when he was speaking at Odero, and he was saying, today you cannot be saying this about the government. It has not done A, B, C, D. And then tomorrow, when you go on the ground, you want to be associated with the development on the ground. I think that's when the president told him, there are not two governments. There's only one government, and that is Jubilee government. If you're not fit in it, please leave. And it started with the officials, the top officials at Parliament, and that is National Assembly and Senate. And I think now it has gone to the party. Finally, it could go to him.
In fact, I was about to ask you that, like, what does this really mean to the Deputy President? Because, so there was a warning that was given by David Murathe here, here on KTN News through my colleague, Sophia Nuna on Cruisefire. He said, he was warning Kositany, who was part of the guest, that be prepared. On Monday, we're evicting you. And that is what happened yesterday. Then on the same show, Cruise Fire with my colleague Sophia Anuna Murada says we will actually be evicting the DP from the house in Karen. So now, Kositany, this has happened. Are we now likely to see the DP himself being evicted? And what will it really mean to him politically?
When you are evicted from such a high office, and if it happens, then I don't think the Deputy President will have the moral authority to convince Kenyans in 2022 that he would like to become a president. If it was a few days to the election, he could have a rebuttal. He could have a comeback. But 1 year and almost 8 months, you may not be able to come back. It's such a long time to be out of politics. But I'm not saying that he will not be going to the crowd and doing all manner of things he has been doing. But what it means to Kenyans, this 1 year and 8 months will give them a conviction, will give them time to look for what really led to, his eviction from the position of the Deputy President. It is a tall order, I agree, but it is doable. We have seen things happen in the Jubilee party. Nobody would have thought maybe that Eden Duale would not be the leader of majority in the National Assembly, Kipchumba Murkomen in the Senate, and a number of guys. I would say, I come from a community where we say that one is never choked by the meat that he is chewing. So people are always choked by the meat on the plate. So the meat on the plate right now is the 2022 succession politics. It will choke so many people. Some will die politically forever. They will not come back. And some will rise and grow.
But then Kuria, isn't this not just adding some political mileage for the DP, this political attacks and removal of his allies from political positions at the Jubilee Party and also in Parliament?
I think it's a tested and proved case for Deputy President. He has been tested with numbers. Politics is about numbers. He has been tested severally at the National Assembly and at the Senate. You remember that time during the impeachment of Governor Waitito at the Senate? He mobilized his allies, and he was defeated. You remember the case of Mike Sonko. He still tried. The issue of the revenue allocation bill and the formula, he tried and he failed. And on of late, you remember what happened. Over 40 county assemblies approved the Building Bridges initiative. You remember what the deputy has been going around and saying. Politics is about perception.
Right.
So if you go around and saying that tutasimamisha reggae, this reggae we are going to stop, and then over 40 county assemblies approve the bill, what do you think is in the mind of Kenyans? That you have failed. And I don't think there's any other string that he's going to pull that is going to give him another life, another lease of life.
But then it begs the question, because Jubilee Party has been making some crucial decisions, in terms of removing people who've been, they perceive as, quote unquote, not towing the party line.
Yes.
But then, so the latest we've seen is Caleb Kositany, SOE Member of Parliament, who's being replaced, by Cherangany Member of Parliament, Joshua Kutuny.
Yes.
So why not remove other members of parliament and senators who've come outrightly to say that we are supporting political candidates of the UDA? Case in point is what we're seeing in Matungu and also Kabuchai. We are seeing members of Jubilee Party supporting a candidate of UDA, the same party that Jubilee says we are removing Kositany because he's pledging an allegiance to a new political vehicle, UDA.
I think it's a matter of hierarchy. Where are these other members of parliament compared to Caleb Kositany? Caleb holds a very senior position in Jubilee Party, and that is the Deputy Secretary General. The other MPs who are pledging allegiance to UDA and other political parties are members compared to Caleb. So I think it's a case of starting with the head and coming to the toes. And finally, I think they will get there. And if they don't, maybe these will also have learned their lessons. Yes.
All right. And as we bring this conversation to an end, so Kositany says he'll not petition the party when it comes to his removal. So what does it mean? He's accepted and he'll move on?
Yeah, I don't think he has any choice to oppose because I think he knows the decision has been made. If it goes to the next level, he knows the damage he has done to himself. if you already pledge allegiance to another political party, and like what the late Moses Kajwang, Kajwang used to say, that loyalty, faithfulness to the party always comes number one. And I think it's a very high time as Kenyans, we start learning this, that there are some decisions that are made by the party that sponsored you to parliament. Right. And at any given time you go against that, the party has the mandate to remove you.
Right.
And it doesn't only happen in Kenya. You remember even in South Africa, there's a president who went against the policies of the party. He was removed by the party, that is Jacob Zuma, and Cyril Ramaphosa was installed as the president.
Right.
And it moved on. I wish we get there where the parties even make decisions on a president who is rogue,
right,
and replaces him with a fit one.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Solomon Kuria, political analyst, talking to us about that decision by the Jubilee party for removing Caleb Kositany from that position as the party Secretary General of the Deputy Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. This is not the first time we are seeing the Jubilee Party evict members of that party from the position. Before Kositany was removed, we had nominated senators being removed from that party. We also had Senator Kang'at